this is something that you don't talk about very often, but you're a Navy SEAL, right? and with that, there's just a different mentality how you attack life. Like, how do you go about business having a Navy SEAL background?
I mean, that's kind of, in a lot of ways, it's a hard question to answer because, like, I don't think of it in those terms, right? Like, I just am who I am. I don't think of it like, how does a Navy SEAL go about this? And so so I have to kind of dissect my own psyche for a second and maybe understand. I think there's always, and it's kind of cliche, but it's absolutely true. Like, we kind of don't know really when to quit. So one of the things I think is from being an entrepreneur, you have to have the ability to just continuously persevere. Like, because we've had so many times in Grayboe where it's been a rough ride. There's been some real rough rides. And every entrepreneur has that, right? Every business has had tough times, and you've got to be able to make it through. But I think that's why you see a lot of SEALs successful, because they just don't know how to quit. They really just don't. You have good examples like David Goggins out there who runs like 200-mile runs. And I mean, he's just a shining example of our community of what that mentality is. And there's a lot of business owners out there that are very successful because they just have that mentality. And I think that means a lot, and what comes with that is sometimes overlooked because it's simple, but also being an owner with employees, I understand how sometimes hard it is to come by. We're responsible people. We show up to work every day. Like, that's our life. Like, we don't cut corners. We do what it takes. Even if we're not right, even if we're not that good at the beginning, or, there's a lot of things that get in the way, but we just keep going. Not just necessarily when the times are hard, but when you don't know what you're doing and you feel like, holy cow, what am I doing here? How am I'm in charge of all these people and all this stuff. Like, what's going on? How do I overcome all this? Like, how did I get here? And then you just, get a grip, move forward, It's one of the things they teach you, not like pound into you, but it's one of the things in the background that really sets in hard. It's like, you're calm. You go through your business and you don't get too excited. And it's also a catch-22, but you just keep this really nice, even keel throughout your business. When things are high, you don't get too high. When things are low, you don't get too low. You just stay right here. And it helps a lot of times. It does help in a lot of ways. And it's not always the best way to be either. Personal life, and there's also a real creative streak that entrepreneurs need to experience. And it's hard to be creative when you're just going like this, when life's going like this and you're right in the middle, So I had to learn that. I mean, it's, like I said, in a lot of ways, that even keel, calm demeanor really helps in a lot of ways, but you also got to learn that it's not, you can't be that way 100% of the time. You got to figure out when to come out of that. Like, as your company's doing on this high, you can follow that high a little bit. Or as your company, is even in the middle, if you have to kind of channel that, like, the creative ability that everybody has, that might not know it, but everybody has some creative ability. As an entrepreneur, you need both. You need your left brain and you need your right brain. You need to be analytical and you need to be creative. If you're just analytical, it works for a while, but you can't, I don't think just being analytical, I don't think you can build a really big successful business without being able to be creative. And there's no way, if you're just creative, you can build a business and not have any analytical ability, because you spend money and you have no organization. So anyway, I think SEALs are really taught to be that even keel in war, in training. They train you you're underwater for minutes at a time, holding your breath in super stressful situations. And like I said, that's kind of the background. Like, that's kind of happens in the background. It's just constantly stress. And if you end up stressed out, you're gone. You just can't handle it. So it really, either you either get the personality that's just can just ride that wave simply, or you have to figure out how to make yourself that type of person. And so I think that helps SEALs become entrepreneurs, because I think in many times you just can't be too over emotional, because things get out of control. You have employees that can get emotional on you. You got to be the voice of reason and some calmness and clarity in times that are chaotic. And I think that's definitely a sign or a byproduct of the SEAL community. And I probably could go on for a number of different ways that the SEAL background probably is a beneficial thing to me and personally, but I think that's one that just comes to the top of my head for sure.
Yeah, I think you're never doing it alone. Like, obviously, if you're on a team, you're on a team of other people who are equally competent in whatever aspect they are. So I'm sure you assemble a team of people who are good in their lane.
Yeah.
Take some of that stress off of you.
Yeah. And good people are hard to find. And it's interesting because right now we're going through some of this right now. Like we're finally getting, with Grayboe, we're getting some really solid employees underneath me. And it takes time to get those people into, I think I think everybody has their own style of leadership, for sure. Everybody has their own style. But my style in particular, I'm not a micromanager. I'm the opposite of a micromanager, but I expect a lot of people. And if you're not doing your job, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm just going to get rid of you. And so it puts a lot of responsibility on the individual to be self-reliant and to be able to solve problems on their own without me being there constantly. It's, again, my type of leadership. And it's also the fact that I hired you to do a job and to be I need a specific type of person for this role. And I can't, if I had to micromanage you or I had to write bullet points for your job description, I don't need you. I can't hire, someone that's not very smart if all they're doing is following orders. I need to hire somebody smart who can think, who knows me enough, and I'll be around enough, they've been around me enough to know what I expect so they can make decisions on their own. And I even tell my guys, like, I want to keep this company moving forward. So if there's a decision to be made that needs to be made now, make it. And if it's the wrong one, we'll deal with the consequences later. But I trust, I have a group of leaders. I trust you guys to make the right decisions. I trust that you know what my expectations are, and make those decisions. And we'll, I'm confident that, high 90% of the time, those are going to be right. And when they're wrong, it's a learning experience. Making mistakes is a result of moving forward and having new problems. And new problems are good as long as those problems are in the right direction, right? And that just proves that you're doing new things and you're moving forward. And so I tell them that. And and so I think it's good for the right people. I think my style is good for the right people. Other people have styles that are good for other people. Some people are micromanagers, and that's their style. But I'm not. The way I look at it is I want little mini entrepreneurs that are my top leadership, because I want them to think for themselves. And I want, I structure my incentives and my pay around that in a lot of ways, because I think people are motivated that way, and I want people around me that think similar to me. That's how I'm motivated. I have it's my own life, my own stuff. I don't want to be told what to do. That's why I'm my own business. That's why I'm not in the military anymore. And so I want people like that, because I get that. I get those people. I understand them. I don't necessarily understand the people who want to take orders constantly. This is not I don't understand it. So that's kind of a hard thing for me. And I think hiring the people and developing those people into little mini entrepreneurs is the way I like it. That's the way I like it. So.